Two girls.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Three
Absolutely
girls.
love it.
My brother's got two girls, like just two girls, and I'm like, you've got your hands. Well, he was like, I want my little rugby player boy and whatever. And two girls, I was like, you'll be obsessed.
I mean, you say that, but like Buddy's now 7, and he's like, the attitude's there now.
Oh, really?
Spending money on Roblox, like it's just like it's an endless pot of cash. Spent 70 quid the other week without telling him, like just managed to spend 70 quid on Roblox.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that was great.
Oh no.
Anyway, it could have been worse. Could have been £7,000, couldn't it? So,
yeah, exactly. But still,
it wasn't £7,000.
Like,
anyway,
Lottie's 8 and she's full of like the sass and attitude and everything. I can't deal with it. I was like,
where'd you get that from?
No idea. Absolutely no idea.
Right.
Ready to go?
We are another idea.
Podcast for creatives and
You just want to level up. Yes, let's just get it out of the way straight off the bat.
If you're here for the first time, please share, subscribe, and
people
review.
People have been listening for 6 months, Igor, since we started.
People are constantly finding
listeners.
us. People are constantly finding us, which we find absolutely incredible that you would actually take your time to spend a little bit of your time with us.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing it. We say it every week.
Yes.
Before we get into today's guest, I thought I'd just put something to you that I thought of this morning. Well, I thought it the last few days, and I mentioned it to Amy, Merla, and Courtney in the office yesterday. And that is, I don't know if I'm getting a bit fed up with Instagram. I think I don't know what it is. I'm just starting to feel like I've had a bit of a week or so. I don't know if it's because we're having the kitchen done, and that's like a massive drain on your energy level. Yeah. And YouTube started and is up and running, and that again is another drain on your energy level, isn't it? Don't know. And just a couple of things I've seen on Instagram that have made me go, yeah, do you know what? I can't really be arsed.
It's been on my to-do list for a little while, but I need to do a massive call of the things that I follow.
I saw a post on, you guys might have seen this, but is it Mother Pucker?
Mother Pucker, yeah.
She put a post out, didn't she, about how she'd
had a
post. Did you?
Yeah.
She put a post out about having her post removed, even though she was calling out some pretty graphic and offensive messages that she'd been receiving.
So she got removed even though she was calling out?
Yeah, she was calling out some of the messages and saying Instagram needs to step up and sort this. And, and I think her response to that was like, I've had enough.
Yeah.
Which I kind of get.
Yeah.
It's not on, is it really? They take,
Yeah.
They want your money and they want your content,
yeah.
and they make money out of it, but they're not prepared to up their game and just little things like that on top of everything else. It's kind of made me go,
yeah,
just having a bit of time off Instagram.
Yeah, that's it. Have a break from it and come back refreshed, whatever. Because just a
little side note to start the episode with there.
Well,
hey Lindsay, how you doing?
No, I go through that. I'm feeling it at the moment as well. I'm like, I don't know if it has like a mental toll on you. I think find sometimes I'm just a bit like, oh, I'm done. I don't think I posted in like 2 months. I'm not close enough.
No, it's all right.
Okay. I don't think I've posted in like 2 months, and I'm just like, oh, I can't. I don't know if that's just, I don't know, me.
Yeah, I think we all go through. Yeah. I think I don't know.
I agree.
I spoke to the guys in the office yesterday, and we were all just like, yeah, there's only so much energy you have to give to, your social channels and with everything else that's going on. I just kind of found myself going, God, I've not really put a wedding photo up for a bit, or I don't really feel like I've been active on stories. Then I'm like, can I be bothered? No.
Because I find that it takes me away from it takes you away from real life, doesn't it? And then sometimes when you just like that all the time, or on your, you just need a whole break, a whole zone out from it. Yeah. That's what I get. I feel a bit
you're
exhausted.
just generally quiet, full stop on it, aren't
you?
You just
I am. Because when I do post, again, it just consumes me. Yeah. You're kind of like, it's like that.
That's it. I'm exactly the same. When I post, I find that then I'm on there all day, looking at the likes or looking at the comments or looking. Whereas if I don't post it, then I don't need to check anything. Yeah. Then it's fine.
We all know that shit, don't we? We all know it. But still, they get us, don't they?
They do. They get us.
But that said, though...
let's crack on with the episode.
Yeah. We've got the amazing Lindsey Garvey in the house. Hey. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, very good. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
It's always amazing to have people from different walks of life in the studio. And I think that your episode is going to be a treat for sure, especially for photographers and creatives in general that really want to start outsourcing some of the things within their business and how that could work. So, But tell us a bit about you. How did you start this creative journey, really?
Yeah. So it was never, well, I started off in HR, to be honest. So went to uni and I did like media arts and everything at university, but that was a long time ago. And yeah, I fell into HR, recruitment and everything after. So it wasn't creative at all. But I've always been into photography. I'm not good at it.
It's been that constant.
Yeah, it's always, well, I've always, enjoyed it, but never, my camera doesn't come out of auto, nothing. Like, honestly, I just like taking a picture. Like I said a minute ago, my kids are like, I'm like, fake laugh, everyone. They're like, hey, they're pros at it now. I'm like, yes, we've got it. But my dad's a photographer, and he's very old school. And it's always been part of our lives for like ever. And but yeah, I never kind of fell into it. And then I'd always wanted to do something for myself. Like I was in HR, and it's pretty depressing. It was great, but I'm quite a happy, chirpy, like high vibe kind of girl. And then you get people coming into your office and crying, and you're like, you've got disciplinaries or grievances or something like that, and it's just, I can't.
Takes
go.
its toll.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
Like, it really takes its mental toll. And
How long did you do it for?
Oh,
HR?
I think about 10 years, but then there was a break to have kids and stuff like that. But I always knew I wanted to do something for myself, but I just never knew what. I always overcomplicated it in my head. I'm like, I don't know how to start anything. Like, what do I do? And then this idea of a VA came up probably about 6 years ago. And I was like, that's good, because I've got loads of transferable skills. I can do that. And then, but again, I overcomplicated it in my head. I was like, 3 years.
What were you doing?
Because
I think a lot of people will go, I do that all the time. But just give a bit of context. Like, how would you overcomplicate the situation?
I was like, I'll need like legal stuff. I don't know where to look for legal stuff. How would I know what to do? Like anything, I put it to the back burner. And then it was like, how would I even work with clients? Who would I work with? How would I start that process? Like, what would I do? And then so then
everything becomes a hurdle.
Yeah, everything became a hurdle, and I allowed it to. I was like, no, fine, I can't. But I needed it at the time because my husband's job was not flexible at all. So when I had kids, I needed to be around. Like if the kids were ill at nursery or something like that, it was me, I had to go. So I was like, having something around our lives would be perfect. And I went back to HR for a little bit, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. I read a book. I did. I always tell a story about I did a bit of paneling in my bedroom, which made me realise, I can do it. I can do stuff. Bit of a random story that. But
it's that introspective. It's that introspective though. Spending that time with your thoughts and with yourself a little bit to kind of like,
like it's
maybe
not
I can.
Yeah, exactly. Like I the paneling story was, so I read a business book. It was quite a basic one, but it was a really good like intro, and I was like, okay. It was Carrie Green, She Means Business, and like I wasn't a book reader or anything, but I was like, this was quite easy to get my head around and whatever. And then at the time, I've told this story when I did a speaking thing. At the time, I really wanted to panel my bedroom, the back wall. I really wanted to do it, and my husband was just like, do it next week, do it next month.
That's our go-to
never
response.
Gets done.
That's our go-to. That's generally how it works. Yeah, it's just put her off another week.
Yeah,
I'm going to the golf course.
That's exactly it. He's at a golf shop now, and it never happens. And one day I was like, I'm just going to bloom do it. So I went to B&Q, got it all down, whatever, and then I did it. And then that was like literally that was when I was like, if I can do something like that, which I thought I couldn't ever do, I was like, I can start my business. And I read that book and I did that. And that's when I started, literally on the back of paneling in my bedroom. And that's how and then because I always really love photography, all that kind of stuff, I was like, well, surely photographers need help. Like you're good at what you do, the creative side, going out taking photos and like doing all that stuff. Who looks after your admin? Who looks after your onboarding? Who looks after any of that?
So to just be just for clarity, so VA stands for very anxious.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm selling it here. But so that's how I became a
virtual assistant. In case anybody's like, that's not
very
right.
Anxious, virtual assistant.
Joke.
Virtual assistant. And that's it. And I put it out to photographers, and
you never look back.
Never look back. Honestly,
but how did you even get the idea for it, really? Because it still
feels in its infancy, doesn't it?
It very much does.
Yeah.
It very much does. Was there anyone that you sort of like looked at that you sort of like, inspired you to do it?
No, well, when I first moved to Bath, like where I live now, I moved out there, and like this years ago, and I was looking for some kind of work just to get like part-time, whatever, again around the kids, and a virtual assistant company got in touch, but I'd never heard of it. It was like it was way back, and I was like, oh, this is an idea, and I think I got a job via them. And then I was like, I could do this myself. Like, this is something, like definitely something. But they actually then found me a HR
paneling.
job. Yeah,
so
I've
I
done
can do
paneling.
this.
I can do this.
Yeah.
And but no, they got me a job in HR, another job in HR there. And so I just carried on the HR journey. And but then I was like, no, I kept going back to that idea. But when I started, there were VAs out there. But I think it's definitely just blown up now at the moment. So I feel like I got there at the right time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's really good.
So can you just explain to us, like, why would somebody need a VA? What's the core purpose of your role as a VA, and why would that be a benefit to somebody that's running a business?
Yeah, well, it's to support you guys. So obviously, I choose to work with photographers, creatives. You have got all your you've got your weddings, you've got even like family photographers. Everyone, you focus on the creative side, but yeah, you're onboarding, all your admin behind the scenes, like all of that kind of stuff. You don't want to then do that because you're not earning money while you're doing that. It's super important to get that stuff done. But yeah, you earn money when you're at weddings. You earn money when, you're taking all the amazing like photos, doing all that kind of stuff. You're not earning money while you're like getting all the admin bits, getting your spreadsheets together, doing all that. So that's where a VA can really come in and help. And once you can delegate that part over, then yeah, you can just get back to earning money. But whether it's photographers and creatives or anyone else, and you've got the benefit of the contractor, like it's a subcontractor for you, isn't it? You don't have to pay the holidays, you don't have to do any of that stuff. So yeah, you've got that.
So, Sam.
So, Igor.
Studio Ninja.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about our sponsor. And I was wondering about what we need to say in this little section, because I really want to talk about just how vital it is to my business. And one thing that came up recently was, in my own business, was that I was thinking about whether I need to get a VA on board. Mm-hmm. Like, do I need somebody that's going to help me just, perform some of the admin tasks? And when I looked at it, and it really boiled down to what do I need somebody on board for, I realised that I don't actually do much admin.
Yeah.
And I don't do much admin purely because of Studio Ninja.
Yeah.
Everything's automated. Yeah, my invoices, my diary, my questionnaires that I send out.
Email templates.
Chasing up invoices. Everything's fully automated to the point where it doesn't take a huge amount of my time anyway. So it kind of defeats the whole point of a VA. So for me, it is a very integral part of my business. Yeah. And I think when you're running a business, you're self-employed like we are, being efficient, being productive, making sure that things run in the right order. If you find yourself doing any kind of repeat task, you have to say to yourself, why am I repeating this?
Automate it.
And if you can automate it, then that's it. And that's really where Studio Ninja fits in with me and my business. And they have very kindly given us a discount code, haven't they, for this podcast? So what's that discount code, Igor?
Another idea.
And another idea gets you 50% off your first annual subscription.
Yeah.
So it's just a no-brainer. I mean, I wouldn't even be hanging around. Just go and look at Studio Ninja.
Just go and do it right now.
But thank you very much, guys, for sponsoring this podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. Keep it up.
We love Studio Ninja. So when people come to you, Lindsay, I need this and this and that, what are the sort of like usual pain points that you tend to hear from them that you can sort of like offer solutions to?
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you a pain point. I remember, like, before I had a CRM system, I suppose that's a similar thing. Obviously, like a VA is somebody that's going to come in and kind of handle that port of call, right?
Yeah.
But a CRM is still something that you use, but obviously there are multiple CRMs on there. So I remember, like, I used to put stuff on an Excel sheet. So like an inquiry would come in, I'd put it on an Excel sheet, and then the day I realised that wasn't good enough was the day I booked, like, double booked to date, and was like, oh shit. Which I don't think you can call yourself a professional photographer until you've done that.
Yeah.
I think when you've done that
gives me the fear.
It's like haven't you? No. It's like a medal. It's like, yes, double book somebody.
That gives me the fear, though.
But it does. It's very fortunate. I realised it a day later. So it's like, look, I'm really sorry. I'm actually not available. Here's your money back. But you're like, things need to change, don't they?
Yeah.
It just needs to be a bit more efficient, a bit more streamlined, a bit more foolproof, I think.
Yeah.
Because even though, you can have a really advanced, detailed Excel sheet, but you can still double book somebody.
Oh, yeah.
you know, it's still possible. So
yeah, for sure. As my like VA journey's gone on, I've actually so at the start I was like, when you market it yourself, like, yeah, if you want to grow your business and delegate, get a VA, delegate. But now actually I've kind of dropped like half of my business is VA. I'm not growing that side anymore, but the other side is systems and processes and all that kind of stuff, which is where, so I've worked with photographers over the time where they need the help. For sure they need the help, because they're so overwhelmed with everything that's going on. But they're so overwhelmed and they're sinking in it, where they think, you know, a VA is going to be able to help out. It's not. We're task orientated. We kind of go from you. And if you're in a whole world of mess and whatever, they're always the relationships that end prematurely, because there's no systems, there's no processes in place before. So I say now all the time, you need your systems and processes in place, and then hand those over to a virtual assistant who can then take it on. So when you mentioned about CRM, like you could get a VA for like, you know, £300 a month to do exactly what a CRM could do for what, £20-30 a month. So I'm very much like, get that sorted, then hand it over, and then yeah,
because I don't think anyone ever really prepared. Like, it's great to be busy, and obviously as you kind of get into your business, you don't ever think you need that kind of setup. But very quickly, when you start being creative and busy, it just ramps up, doesn't it? And then you very quickly find yourself in a position where you're like fighting against it all, because there's just constant admin coming in. You're like, I used to remember, I'd come in on a Monday, and I'd spend a whole day. Like Monday would go on like emails, admin, responses, setting up meetings, all that kind of stuff. And you're like, oh right, okay, wow, I've done all that. And like you obviously get to that stage where you're just swamped. But I don't know where I was going with my point. My mind's just gone off on like a complete different tangent.
But it's totally
it's okay,
true.
guys. We've only been doing this podcast for like 7 or 8 months. It'll come back to you in a moment.
But it's totally, and in that time you've earned no money.
No.
And you've just been working on your emails, you've been working on whatever. So it's exactly that. Like, you don't want to do that. And if you get someone on board who can literally take that off your hands, you know, there's going to be that transition period where you have to train them up doing whatever. But once they know. And then like I've become the whole admin side of like photographers' businesses, some of my biggest clients, where I've literally taken on, they don't even know what admin's going on anymore, because I've got it and I'm running with it.
It's incredible. So literally replying to clients and inquiries and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So that was, I no longer do emails and stuff like that, because I've kind of changed it up, but that's exactly what a VA can like literally take on. You know, get someone who you're aligned, like I talk about being aligned, get someone who you're aligned with and who, you know, like you're similar. So when they're replying to your clients, you have full trust in, you know, the replies that are going back and forth and all that kind of stuff. So and it's honestly, when you do it right, it's a game changer for your business. Like, absolutely. Because you can't always do things on your own.
Do you find it that with the clients and the people that you team up with, in that sort of stage when you were doing emails and replying to whoever else, I'm just thinking tone of language and everything else for that specific business, is that something that you would have to adapt, or would you be able to bring in your tone of language for that specific business? Oh, I'll pass you on to Lindsay and she'll sort you out, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's always been quite good with me, because like I don't know, I think when we were talking about Instagram a minute ago, like what you put out is kind of what you get back, isn't it? So I don't kind of come out, like I don't put up there that I'm, you know, super formal and I do this and do that. I'm very much like, hi lovely, you're right, that kind of thing. And so like my clients that come my way are like very similar as well. So it works perfectly in terms of like, you know, the clients that they deal with. So, you know, when I've had like family photographers or like wedding photographers that I've worked with, it's just been perfect. It's just, I'm an extension of that photographer. That's or amazing. That creative, which is really nice. So when they like put about me on like socials or on emails or anything to their clients, they're like, I feel like I know that their clients just as much. So it's really nice. And I feel super passionate about their businesses too. So I'm like, you
want them to be busy. The busier they are and the more successful they are, that's just a continued business and relationship for you. It justifies your, you know, the investment that they're making in you to be able to grow their business. And kind of go, I still can't remember the point I was going to make, but it was kind of like, just to go back to like, it's just, no, it doesn't, like doing that outsourcing, it just frees up just so much time, doesn't it? And weight off your shoulders that you don't you don't get bogged down with, and just allows you to focus on growing your business in the right way.
Yeah,
which is by
really
doing
does.
creating your work.
Yeah, I've worked with photographers who have taken on the whole idea of outsourcing completely. Like they've been outsourcing like legends, that they've fully trusted the process and let it go, and how much they've got. It wouldn't just be to me, it would be like to a social media manager as well, bookkeeper, accountant, anyone like that. And but I was part of it, and they've been able to grow their business in so many ways, like education, all that kind of stuff. And now they're like, oh my God, I literally could never take back the emails or the admin or anything like that, because they've grown it massively. It's an investment for sure, but you'll reap the rewards down the line, definitely.
Yeah, because I think so many people they get bogged down by it. They, like kind of describing that, coming in on a Monday and just doing admin for the entire day, and that's all well and good. But if you're not putting out content or doing your marketing, you're just stunting the growth of your business. Full stop, aren't you? And
yeah, exactly.
it just frees up that time, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So how has your business grown then over the years in terms of just your VA experience? Really, how has it grown?
It's been incredible. Like I couldn't have dreamed that it would do any better. Which is like, yeah, I have to pinch myself sometimes. I'm like, how have I done this? This is amazing. Yeah. So obviously I started with the VA side, and I started just before the pandemic hit. But it was great for me because I was able to market and not lose any money on it or anything. So I was able to put myself out there, grow a bit of a following, and like a very tiny following, like probably like 50 followers or something, but put out there. And then, from there, because at the start I was just like, oh, any kind of, I'll work with anyone kind of thing. But then I was like, no, I'm going to put my niche out there. Like I want to work with photographers. And the minute I did that, the game changed. And it's been incredible. The clients I've been able to work with, they're all amazing. I speak to them all far more than I probably speak to my husband. But yeah, which is quite nice actually. It's grown. I've changed up the business. I do mentoring now. I've got a team, and I've gone into system setups, which is what I'm like massively passionate about now.
Wow. So you're passing on things to your team. What sort of things do they do and that you would do?
Yeah, so I've got a team of VAs who work with clients. So new clients come on now, and I no longer take on any more virtual assistant clients. I pass them over to them, and they work directly with other.
Yeah, amazing. So just tell us what do the systems mean? What is it you're kind of doing from that viewpoint?
So dun, dun.
You can say it. No, you can say it. It's fine. We're sponsored by CRM, but there are other CRMs available, and
Exactly.
you're allowed to talk about
we want to hear
Exactly.
this.
It's not a problem.
Okay, so Dubsado, I
Yep.
do system setups. Don't hate me, Studio Ninja. I do Dubsado setups. Studio Ninja's also very good though, very good. So I've gone into that. I've become a Dubsado specialist, certified specialist, and I do Dubsado builds and setups for photographers and creatives now, which literally is just sorting out their workflows from onboarding right the way through to offboarding. We kind of fully map it out and go deep.
So tasks are basically automated, and if they're not automated, they're responded to by VA if they've outsourced to a VA. But if not, then it's a task that I think it's one of those things. If you like, we talk about it before on kind of I suppose on the adverts, really about talking about if you're repeating tasks all the time, it's like hold on, can you automate this? Like just because it's automated doesn't mean it can't be made personal.
Yeah,
exactly. I think that's always a bit of a fear people have, isn't it? I've got to do it. I have to be in charge of this, but
it's the biggest fear for so many people. But I think we forget that in this day and age that people expect you to probably be in a workflow, like things are being managed. But with these CRMs nowadays, probably even Studio Ninja, I've done a little bit on Studio Ninja, but you can personalize them to your clients, like without you having to go in and edit and do all that. But my biggest bit of advice, you have a lot of people who do setups and they're like, let's just get it all in there. Let's just automate everything.
Okay.
But full automation can be scary. Like when your client has gone in there and your client's your baby, your client goes into that workflow and they're right the way through to offboarding. It's like, oh my God, like sometimes it can run away with you a little bit and it's a bit daunting. Well, I'm like, no, just keep it simple. Like go in, like put your like core your pillars in there, like the things that you know that definitely have to go out, do that. But you're going to be talking to them outside of a workflow. You're going to be doing all that. But yeah, you can highly personalize it now with CRMs. You know, the CRMs can pull through the venue, their names, their dates, all of it, and you haven't written that email, and it's just gone, and it's got all the right info in, and it's perfect.
And by experience, how long would you say it takes for you to sit down with someone and get that system fully ready and going? Does it take a long time, or is it sort of
If any of my clients are watching, they'll laugh.
Come on, let's give them a kick up the arse.
Well, there's part of the journey is I can't go in and build your system because I don't. I can, obviously that's my job. I go in and build a system, but I mean, I can't just go in and assume I know everything about your business. There's a chunk of homework I need from you at the get-go, and as part of that, we do a strategy call. And my clients will laugh because they know how long a strategy call can be. So I say, leave yourself 2 to 3 hours. No lie, in the last 2 that I've done, kids have gone to school. I've got on the call for about 10 o'clock. Husband's done the school pickup and the kids are home and I'm still on that call. A strategy call can be that long because we're completely mapping out their client journeys for if it's wedding, if it's UK, destination and elopement, for instance. We're mapping out each one of those workflows from onboard to offboard. And then that's where I then take all the information and get going. So, but the whole process can be 6 to 8 weeks if there's no delays.
Wow.
It's commitment.
Yeah, it's very much so. But you said a client journey, really, but you're very much setting yourself up for success in terms of the way you are giving an experience to your clients. I just never thought of it like that, really.
Yeah.
From beginning to end, and
So
I've got work to do.
Every point of the journey, isn't it? We talked about it with Murder and the marketing course that's going to come out. It's like that kind of how can you provide that experience every single touch point, not just I've got their money, see you later now.
Yeah.
Do whatever.
Well,
so
that's
how
it.
How can you always kind of just over deliver? How can you be, how can you show up? How can you be humble and connect with them? And how can you just provide that level of service all the way through the journey rather than just trying to make the sale?
Yeah. It's honestly, some of the photographers I've worked with, they've come, they're like, I know mine's a mess. And there's someone I know who worked with a wedding photographer. When they were getting married, they had a wedding photographer. And the client journey, the photographer's amazing, but the client journey fell down. They didn't know if the photographer had received the deposit. They had no idea kind of what was going on in the in-between. And no doubt brides, I've been one and whatever, we get a bit oh my God, have you got my money? Are you coming? What's going on? And there was kind of no communication there at all. And probably brides it can be I don't know, a bit needy maybe sometimes just to make sure everything's perfect. And
you just want that assurance, don't you?
Yeah, you just want
it's just a basic
that
level
just
of
to make sure it's all going to
is.
happen. And they hadn't heard anything right up until the day. And it's all right. The photographer showed up. It was absolutely fine.
You would, wouldn't
they were
you?
there.
If you've not heard anything, you would question whether the photographer's even going to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Have you got my money? But what happened afterwards is the photos were amazing, everything, and the photos go on Instagram and you tag the location. But that person had other brides who were getting married at that venue get in touch with her, said, can I just ask, I've got the same photographer, did they show up? And it happened for three people, three brides. Did they show up? Because I've not heard anything. And I was like, oh my goodness, you really don't think how important that client journey is.
It's not a positive experience, that, is it? When you doubt the validity of your supplier.
Yeah, if they're not, yeah. So when I work with new ones, they come to me my client journey is definitely off, and it's an investment to do a setup. So when someone comes, we look at it all. We look at everything that's going on. Are you going to send a gift or something at that point? Are you going to are you sending a pre-wedding details form? When are you doing your final consultations? When are you doing all of that? We get it all in these journeys, so they just go. And you don't have to fret, and your clients are being looked after. It doesn't stop you from texting them outside of it or emailing outside, but that the key points are being delivered, and they're being looked after. I could go off on a tangent about that.
No, this is amazing. The more the detail, the even better, because this is what we want to hear.
And when someone's been through that journey and they've kind of been through that, sounds like kind of an extensive process, whether you do it with a VA or you do it as your own through a CRM, it obviously takes a lot of work. What's the kind of like big byproduct of that for your clients? Obviously they have a massive party and celebrate and do like a 3-week trip to Dubai to like go, yes, I'm set up. But what are the kind of big takeaways for them?
The fact that they know that their clients are being looked after, that they're going through a really professional like process, and in turn, you know, you build trust with your clients then as well. But also, you know that you can chill a little bit. You know your clients, you put them into that workflow, and you can like take a bit of a like,
it's headspace, isn't it? You're not constantly thinking about, I need to send that, I need to send this. Yeah, it's headspace.
Because we all do it. Like I do double silo setups for other people. God, I need to pay someone to do mine, because we don't pay ourselves to do our own thing.
Do you just have like a Microsoft Excel sheet?
Oh my God, yeah. Well, I'm not probably far off it. But honestly, I've got an amazing associate who helps me do my Dubsado builds, and she also does Dubsado builds. And I say to her, I'm like, Laura, I think I need to pay you to do mine. And I say to all my clients, like, please don't judge what your build's going to be like on what my Dubsado's like. Please don't. But yeah, because it's a like a huge thing to, you know, do and invest in and everything. So yeah, but something, I'm so passionate about.
You can tell, and you can tell that you do it really well as well. So now you tend to sort of like send certain things to your VAs. How was that sort of like bringing them into your business? How did it change it? And how did it change it?
Yeah, well, it was when I first brought on an associate, I was a bit like, oh God, like, and I think like everyone, when you start outsourcing, whether it be to a bookkeeper or an accountant or anyone, you look at the money and you're like, oh, can I really like give that up? Can I do this? And the first associate I brought on, I was like, you know, just do a few hours. Like, I don't want to, like, you know, I'm like, can you tell me how much time you're tracking, please? Like, but I remember once where I was like, I got to burnout. Like, my business had grown like massively overnight with like photographers, which was like my key client. And there's no way I was saying no to any like photographers that were coming in. I was like, no, I'll have you, yeah, because I don't want you to go to anyone else. So I was taking them all in, and I needed help, so I got an associate on board. And I remember once at the weekend, there was a blog or something that needed to be done for a photographer, and it wasn't one of my favourite things to do, and that's all right. When it's not, you outsource that. Like when you've got things that you don't enjoy doing, you outsource it. And I was like, I said to my associate, can you do this? Is that all right? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. So I went out with my family, with my kids, and I'd been like burnt out, and I'd been like working, you know, constantly, like morning to 1 o'clock in the morning, like constantly all the time. And we went out and we went to like a park, and I played with the kids and whatever. And then I got a text from my associate going, all done. It's on the Trello board, which is our project management tool. And I went back, read it. I was like, oh my God, the relief. I didn't have to spend hours like freaking out about that. And that was a big moment for me, because I was
kind of like the paneling, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You've seen it, you've done it, you then have trust that you can do that. And
the minute you kind of I was like, it felt really like nice to know that it was being done and it didn't need me, and I was with my children having a nice time.
Amazing.
Maybe I was having a nice time. Probably tantruming somewhere.
Did you go to the pub afterwards?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was probably down the pub actually. I'm making it sound very fluffy with the kids. No, out boozing.
I still haven't thought of that question. I'm going to give up on it, because it was there and I was about to deliver it and it just disappeared. Or we went off on a little road, didn't we?
Yeah.
What for anybody that's in that position of feeling like they're a bit swamped, and maybe they haven't got the money or the resource to go and kind of outsource to a VA, but they want to try and sort of just set up a CRM. Like, what would be like the most sort of basic forms that people can kind of go and like? What are the steps that they can take to start to make that shift over? Like, does that make any sense?
Yes. Yeah, it does.
I'm doubting all of my questions now, because my head just went off on one. But yeah, what can they start to? I suppose what are the fundamentals?
Yeah.
How can you start to make that transition over to a CRM?
Yeah. So Exactly like you said. Getting a VA is an investment, and you need to be ready to have a VA as well. You can't just be like, everything's a mess. Here's a VA, and like VA can't pull apart the mess without kind of needing you as well. So definitely the CRM is your main thing that you need to have in place to start alleviating like some of the stress and the admin and all that kind of stuff. What I always say with getting a CRM in place, if you're not going to invest in getting someone to do it, because that is an investment, then you need to, away from it, you need to plan out your client journey from the minute your client gets in touch on your contact form, on your website or whatever. You need to plan out from that the starting point right the way through to you delivering those images, and they're off. And I say,
just write it down on a sheet of paper.
Yeah, I say post-it notes, big sheet of paper, whiteboard, anything like that. Just go for gold, like literally everywhere. And that's what I say to my clients, before you get on a call with me, really think of what your dream client journey is, like the dream one, because this is it. Like, we're doing it now. So yeah, go do all of that, and then come to your CRM. But people think...
Give us a couple of examples on that. Just so that we can really kind of... If someone's listening, they're going, oh, okay, plan it out. But what do we mean? What are those actual steps? So inquiry.
Yeah. So exactly. So I break down, when I do builds, I break down the workflows. So I don't just have like one long workflow from inquiry right the way through to offboarding, because that is too overwhelming. If you went in your CRM and saw that workflow going away, you're like, oh my God, I don't even know where each part is. So I break it down to inquiry, onboarding, delivery, and offboarding. So they're nice bite-sized chunks. So your inquiry could just be an auto response, and then you send them a price guide, and that's your inquiry workflow done and looked after, and then it stops. So that inquiry comes in, the auto response goes, I'll be back in touch. Managing expectations. I always say you need to manage your clients' expectations all the time. Always give them the next steps so they know what's coming as well. So
I've remembered
my really
point.
Good.
Yeah.
Remembered it. It's just about, like, I think most I was going to get to the point of like it's communication. I think most issues or problems that arise in a business can often be just dealt with by just clear, simple communication.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you have a grievance with a client, it might not fix it, but it certainly dampens the severity of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you might still have a problem with a client, but if your communication's been shit,
yeah,
right, it just amplifies the problem, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Tenfold.
Oh, exactly.
You know, we're finding it. We've had our kitchen done recently, and it's not been the best since we paid the bill in December. The communication stopped, and even though the kitchen's looking great, they've done a good job. The problems we've had have just been made worse because there's just no communication. There's not been an email going, "Hey guys, your rip out starts on Monday. Just checking that you're okay." That would have been a very simple, automated email to send, right? None of that.
No.
So you're like, okay, I'm going to get everything out of the kitchen now because I think they're going to rip it out on Monday, but you're like, I don't know, because I've had no email.
Yeah.
You know, it's
exactly.
It's that just simple communication. It doesn't need to be an essay.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. And this is what I.
Oh God, I feel so much better from remembering that.
You're back.
Jesus Christ!
It's never worse when you forget something and it's there. And you're
my mind just went really cloudy.
You've got it.
Got it. Yes, I can relax.
That's exactly it. I say to my clients all the time, you need to manage your clients' expectations, and you need to answer their questions before they ask them as well. And I've got that story to learn from as well. So, you know, you have your inquiry phase, you manage when you're going to get back in touch with them. I'll be back in touch with you within 24, 48 hours, a week, whatever it is. And then that's fine. They've got your pricing guide. And then that workflow stops. And then you get back to them. And then if they're keen to go ahead, you onboard them. So then you put them into the onboarding workflow, which will send their proposal, their contract, their invoice, all of that from the get-go. Your invoice has got reminders around the deposit payment. You don't have to chase payments. Your system does it. You can have contract chasers. So if they haven't signed that contract, your system chases them, all that stuff. And then once they've done that, then you get them in the delivery workflow. So the delivery workflow is everything up to the wedding date, I say. And that first initial welcome email after they've completed the proposal, signed the contract, done the invoice, is a welcome with the next steps in it. So here is where you outline exactly what their journey is going to look like. So number one, here's the next steps. I'll be in touch with you within, 3 months or whatever with a pre-wedding questionnaire.
I think when you break them down into these little points, actually it becomes a lot more manageable, doesn't it? Like when you go, well, if I'm going to send that inquiry email, let's just focus on writing that inquiry email. Yeah. What does it need to be like?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, then I'm going to send my price guide. Well, okay, let's just look at those emails you've already been sending, put it into a template, reword it, whatever, autofill certain components so that you don't have to type it all out.
Yeah.
Let's just tick that one off.
And
Next
that's
one.
it done. Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. And but you've got to give it that time. Like if you're actually
totally.
going to say that you're going to sort out like your client journeys and you're going to like get it all in these workflows, give it that time and do it right.
I have another point that I remembered that I was going to deliver on that. And it reminded me actually of Kat and Ash talking about able burners and how they got to a point where they got so overwhelmed and so busy, they had to stop and they had to shut everything down. Just to get
fulfill
onto their workflow and their systems and to make sure that things could be delivered, because otherwise they were fighting it constantly. And I think that's the same for a lot of photographers. Like if you can't get on top of it because you literally have no time, stop taking work on. Stop, address this, and then go again, because otherwise you are only going down a dangerous path.
Exactly.
And it'll end in dissatisfied customers somewhere along the line.
A lot of people think, I've only just started out. I haven't done a wedding yet. I haven't like photographed a family. I haven't done anything yet. My business is just starting, so I won't do that now. No, that's the best part, because in a couple of months when you are busy, you don't have time to go back and do it, and you're already like treading water. You're already like, oh my god, like my clients aren't being looked after. And then what happens if next month you're I don't know, you need your kitchen doing, you need this, and you've got loads of stuff going on, your kid's ill or something like that, and all of a sudden you thought you were really quiet, and then everything's going in your personal life, and then you've got all your clients that are waiting for things. So I've done a few builds recently with like new photographers, and it's been amazing. Don't get me wrong, their workflows are probably going to change down the line. Like their system will be there long after I'm there, but they've got a really good starting point. It's like someone start, and they can start from a really good place. So can you tell how passionate I am about life?
That's great. I think if anyone's listening to this that is starting out in the business, do not for a second underestimate how important this is to do, like as early as you can. I think we've both been in a position where we probably just started it naively, and get to a point where you're like, okay, no, this needs to change. And so many photographers that I talk to have had that same experience. So if you can do it early on, the earlier on you can do it, the better. I imagine how many photographers will then go, but I can't afford it. Like, okay, well, you've just spent $6,000 on camera gear. It's like you can afford it. Just come on, it's priority.
That's it. It is definitely priority, and it's even if you don't invest in someone doing it for you, you can take it and do it yourself. There's so many resources out there, like educational resources for these CRMs. Obviously I work with Dubsado, and I know their education is like shit hot. Like it's amazing. I actually say to a lot of my clients, when I hand over, I do a bank of tutorial videos on their system. So I do a day of filming all of it, and I hand it over. But I always say to them, here's links to all the education about Dubsado as a whole, because there's no point me reworking that. It's already there. And I'm sure I think Studio Ninja has loads of education and everything as well on how to use it. So you can definitely do it yourself. You don't always have to invest, but if you do, someone like me, I specialize with photographers, so I know, with a new photographer coming my way, I can actually consult on like, I think you should do this at that point. I think you should send this questionnaire. I think your final consultation should be whenever. But
there's no doubt that that you've really, like, your core products or services around helping other photographers and other businesses. But what do you do for your business? How do you market and grow, Lindsay?
I'm really probably rubbish at this. I'm not great on Instagram, to be honest, at the moment. I think I do stories and all that kind of stuff. But my main marketing comes from my recommendations and my referrals from others. And honestly, it's a game changer when someone shouts about you. It makes you feel fluffy. You're like, oh my god! But it's that can have such an effect on your day, your week, your month, or anything. And the work that comes off that, from I've been lucky enough to work with some amazing photographers, and the minute they put my name out there and I get new followers on Instagram or whatever, that's where all my clients are coming from, are the referrals and the testimonials. So that's my main marketing, which is
really just goes to reinforce the whole point that we talked about, which is customer service and communication, doesn't it?
Many
people think that your marketing has to be Instagram, paid ads, all of that stuff, but actually just serving your clients to the absolute best of your ability is a huge marketing tool.
And that's clear with you, really, because we had Rebecca a few weeks ago here, and she sang your praises, really.
I love Rebecca.
And a few weeks ago, it was months back, wasn't it?
Yes.
Beginning of the year.
Did we?
Was Rebecca beginning of the year or was it December?
I don't know.
Was it last year?
Yeah, it was last year.
Oh my
It's
days,
last year.
I'm gone.
There you go.
Whoa.
We're both having one of those days.
Yeah. But yeah, she absolutely sang your praises, really, and we said, yeah, we have to have Lindsay over because it's obvious, it's a no-brainer, really. But yeah, it just shows the power of the word of mouth, really. Yeah.
It really does. And you had Lou Paper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The bum.
She was great.
Yeah, she was on. No, exactly, and that's honestly when you work with people. I always say this when I get a good testimonial or anything. I always say to people, shout about your service providers, shout about whoever, because you never know the difference that makes to someone's business or to what they're doing or whatever. So yeah, that's my main. I think I was on my stories the other day, like, oh my god, I'm horrendous on Instagram. We were just talking about YouTube and stuff a minute ago. I was like,
yeah, I
need to do some YouTube video.
Well, we say that about just people sharing this podcast on their stories. It might just be one little share that you post out, but it's. The compound effect of that is huge. If you've got a following and a reach of, even if it's just 50 or 100 people, that's still 50 or 100 people. It doesn't need to go out to an audience with, 50,000. Obviously, you've got 50,000, please shout that. But, it doesn't always matter, does it? It's like one follower is one person, it's one account, it's one business. It's huge.
And that one
follower. I think we're all girls. We've said this before, haven't we? We've all fallen foul of thinking we're not successful because we've only got 1,200 followers. It's like, well, no, it just doesn't work like that. The
imposter syndrome kicks in massively, doesn't it? And it's I think I've got 2 or something like that. But they're probably like quite engaged. Like when I go through my follower list, they're all my ideal clients. A lot of them, all my peers, or other VAs or photographers or creatives, is exactly what I want. I've done the odd reel and put it up there, and oh my god, the amount of oddballs that come, like, because you've chosen a good soundtrack or something like that. I just delete them all, and I'm like, am I defeating the point of like putting out a viral reel or something like that? But I like the fact that they're just engaged following, and instead, and everyone that I want to work with, really. So that's ideal.
You clearly know what you're talking about. Would you ever consider sort of like?
Do you know what you're talking about?
I don't know. Before I came here today, I was like, do I know what I do? Like, do I know what to talk about?
Just want to check, because you said that you do know what you talk about.
From the gold that you've been dropping, we can attest that, yes, you do know what you're talking about.
I hope so.
Ever thought of starting talks or educating other photographers or other people on how to become an effective VA?
Yes, I am. You've given me ideas. You've given me more ideas now. So, last October, I was lucky enough, I was a guest speaker at an event for family photographers and everything. That was one of the most scariest things I think I've ever done. But it's all about pushing. I think you guys put up about the word for the year or something. I think one of your, the ones that you put up was like growth. And that was my word as well. When you put it up, I was like,
it's great. It's scary, isn't it? Stepping on a stage or in front of a room of people that are like waiting to kind of linger on your every word and get some value from you, and you're like,
it's
what
scary.
If I don't say the right thing?
Yeah. Is anyone going to proofread what I'm actually going to talk about? Because I don't know. So that was the scariest thing I think for the whole year, because I was asked about 10 months or a year. And I was like, I can't say no, because another, like, someone in my position will take that spot. So I did it, and it was awful. It was like, no, it wasn't awful, it was amazing, but it was the worst. I don't look back at like the night before or the lead up with anything nice. I'm like, oh my god, that just gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Were you like, I've panelled a bedroom wall?
Yeah, if I can do that, I can do my own panelling. I'm good.
Love that.
But it was so scary, but I did it, and I was like, right, amazing. I want more of that. Like, that's what I want to do. And exactly what you said. I'd love to, I want to put out some mentoring things for other VAs who are looking to do this, and work with photographers, because I think that's where I know that's where I love to be. I love to be
you
helping.
light up at that stage,
that's it. And it's, I know that I hope I've got some insight to give and some like nuggets to share.
Oh, you absolutely have. I mean, we talked before we turned the cameras on, we talked about how impactful a blog post has been for you, and the benefit of that, and
John.
and
shout out to John.
And we were like, okay, well, can you make that into a YouTube video and use that as a search tool to kind of drive traffic and sales? So there's always that kind of like, well, what's the next stage for your business, isn't there? And what can you do to grow that?
Well, I was actually having this conversation with my husband the other day, and it's because it was my birthday. Was it last week or the week before? And it was hit mid-30s, and it's like it's absolutely fine. But when you start thinking Instagram and all this kind of stuff can't be forever. Like it's what's the next thing? And I was we're in the car coming here. Yes, I'm like I need to think what's next now. And but it's scary, isn't it? Because you think you can live forever, and you think like I'm sounding like a bit dramatic here, but and then you realise, oh my God, no, I can't be doing that forever. Like where do we go from here? So it's inspiring what you guys do as well. Like looking at like all the stuff that you've got going on.
Oh, thanks.
I want a bit of that. I want to like do like something like that. But I know it's amazing.
You've absolutely you've clearly got the knowledge to share with people. It's just about how can you kind of put that content out to what format's it going to be, what products or services can you sell that don't kind of require your time as such. Well, obviously it takes time for you to set that up, but once you've got a product or service that you can just sell, then it's just about scaling it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like you guys do courses and all that kind of stuff, and that's exactly what I would love to do. But when you're so busy working like kind of in your business and doing all that, it can be hard to kind of get your head out of it. And I know I'm coming from a VA like standpoint.
So what are the things that we need to outsource in here?
I know, exactly. Can I outsource anything actually now? I need to get rid of some stuff. So I take things from other people.
Yeah.
And then I actually need to pass
how helpful was that blog post? Like can you just explain to people that are listening like why do they need to blog? What's like the power of blogging?
Yeah, honestly, like name drop John Carpenter, Rebecca's other half. Amazing copywriter, and he wrote did a blog for me for my Dubsado for photographers and all that. And he was, I don't do SEO, I don't really understand it. I realized the other day my website was completely messed up because I threw some colors off and it affected the whole website. I was like, what have I done? But he was like, oh, you're ranking really high for your Dubsado. I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize. So that's a game changer. And photographers need blogs, don't you? You really need like your blogs out there and your photos and all that kind of stuff. So it was a bit of a game changer for my business for sure. But
I have a couple of questions from a speaker, from somebody. Who's your favourite client? That's from Rebecca Carpenter.
Shut up! Oh no.
Yeah.
No, Rebecca Carpenter. No.
But on a serious note, she says, "What is the favourite aspect of your job?"
I love it. Is that from Rebecca?
Yeah, that's from Rebecca. Well, she put my favourite aspect of my job is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, the people I get to work with. Oh my God, that sounds funny now because Rebecca said that. But genuinely, the people I get to work with, they're amazing. And I learn so much from them as well. So I've done a mentoring call with Rebecca before. We did a bit of a job swap for a month. And she did some mentoring with me. And it is so inspiring when you work with people who, you've got your friendship groups, which is all great. But when they're not doing what you're doing, it doesn't, you feel like in a completely different world. But then when you're in the world where you're working with people who are doing shit, like they're getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Rebecca, I've also got my old client Susie. She's like really smashing it, all the education side, and you literally learn.
I know me and Susie are a face.
Yes, Susie. Yeah, honestly, Rebecca and Susie Bird. She's like, honestly, they just absolutely smashing their.
It's good.
Corners.
I think the point you're making is like it's good to be challenged by somebody, isn't it? And I don't think friends or family tend to do that. They tend to either not understand your business, or they tend to just they don't want to kind of upset you, or they don't want to challenge you, or sometimes you need somebody to be like, have you thought about doing this?
Yes, that's like probably most of what I've done I wouldn't have done without my clients, because they end up friends, without them kind of inspiring me to do it. Like, so that guest speaking job that I did was via Susie. I worked with her. I was like, yes, this is amazing, and it brings me on to the next levels. And did the and Rebecca's always like, right, get your passive income done. I'm like, I still need to do that, but I know I need to. And it's so the clients get to work with. But I think also another bit is the transformations I can offer my clients as well. Setups for sure. Like when I get messages, and just the other day I think I was like tagged on Instagram just randomly because my client was like got a toddler, got all of that, but her Dubsado set up, and she didn't even have to think about doing any of that.
Working away in the background, doing what it should be doing.
and it can offer massive transformations. So yeah, I think that's like
the least favourite part of your task.
Oh no, what's the least favourite part? Oh my god, I don't even know. It's probably
letting
loads.
clients go, letting them fly.
Yeah, exactly. Letting them go, not working with them anymore. The least favourite, I don't know. I'm a massive people pleaser. I'm huge, and I think it's on me. You know, I've struggled with boundaries over the past, which is probably something like I say to clients to have, and then I struggle with mine because I'm very fluffy, and I'm very like, you're all right, don't worry, or whatever. But then I think, you know, it gets to midnight and I'm sitting at my desk because I'm doing work that I should have maybe said no to, or had stronger boundaries or something like that. And, you know, it's jeopardizing me spending time with my family or something like that. That's the bit where I'm like, just be stronger, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Just like,
let's talk more about boundaries. I feel like it's a can that doesn't get open very often. I think it's part of running a business, isn't it? Is learning that. I was chatting to somebody the other day on an Instagram live and saying, kind of remember back to the first 2 or 3 years of my business that there were almost no boundaries. It was like, yes, I'll do the work, I'll take the work, I'll do that job. And actually, I kind of think, God, I didn't really have a weekend off for 3 summers.
Yeah.
You know,
and you don't think about the impact it has on your own life, like as well. Like you know, the money's coming in and all that's great, but it's when you are jeopardizing spending time with your children, with your other half, and all that kind of stuff. It's hard.
And it is a balancing act, isn't it? You know, you're on in one hand trying to like grow your business and like develop and build something for your life, for your family, but at the same time you also need to remember that you have a life to lead. I always remember I can't remember who it was, and sorry if this is you, but like somebody articulated it really well, just talking about how, you know, we're paid as photographers to go along and document someone's life event, but we don't have life events ourselves. And it's sometimes you just need that reminder that you need to go and have your own life events, even if it's just a weekend off to go and have a barbecue with your mates down the park, whatever it might be.
Oh, exactly. But we always feel the guilt for doing something like that as well. We always think, actually, but I should be at the desk doing it. You know, in my household at the moment, we've had like massive transitions with my husband's job changing and whatever. So, and now he's gone into the whole corporate world, and we both effectively work full-time jobs and have 2 kids. And, you know, we work kind of from home. He goes around a bit, but it is hard because effectively I've got to work within the school hours, and then I'm back at work in the evening.
Those golf courses aren't going to play themselves, are they?
That's probably what he's doing. Yeah. We actually opened the cards earlier, and I was like, why are your golf clubs in here? Where are you going? You're not going to work, are you?
Brilliant.
So I have to, because it's a full-time job. I'm like, during the day I'm working while they're at school, and then they go to bed and I'm back working again, and you do fall into that, and it is tough. But I think that's where I've always struggled. I could be, you know, my clients in my head are like, clients always come first, and I'll get it done. And if there's delays on projects, for instance, you know, realistically they kind of have to go to the bottom of the pile when you're maxed out and I'm like fully booked, and a delay happens. I really find it hard to be like, you have to go to the bottom of the pile now. I'm like, oh no, I'll try and squeeze you in, but it's kind of my time then that goes. So I think that's
what do you tend to do to sort of like wind down and actually have that sort of like me time?
I'm a massive introvert, like huge. So just being at home and just chilling. So I've got into reading recently. Like never been into reading before, so I've given that a go. But I think I love a cinema trip. God, I sound so fun, guys. Hang out with me.
No shame.
I love cinema and
In
reading.
that. No shame in that.
But I've hit that age where it's just like just chilling.
Yeah,
is just perfect.
It's me time, and
are there any boundaries that you've clearly set now in terms of your work sort of life balance? I take it you have a home office.
Yeah, home office. I had my own, but now I have to share with the other half, which I'm gutted about. But I think we learn. There will always be clients and stuff that you learn from, where something might not have gone right, or you know, I could have improved that. Like I'll learn from that. I think we've all got those, and like that's definitely happened over time. Where I'm like, communication. What we're talking about, I could have handled communication better. I could have done that better, and so I've recently overhauled the whole back end of my business to make sure that, I'm managing expectations properly. If there are delays, then this is what happens and whatever. And it's made a huge difference now, like absolutely massive. And that's exactly why I feel so strongly when I'm telling other people about their client journeys and managing their boundaries. I'm like, I need to do it. I think a lot of people appreciate it. Like when you are a bit firmer, like not like nasty firm, but like when you're firm with your business and you're firm with, okay, these are how we work and whatever, people massively appreciate it and respect it more than just being super chilled and just being like, oh yeah, you're good, whatever. They want some boundaries as well. So I think don't be scared to enforce them a little bit.
You can't provide the best service possible for you if you're not in a good and stable place with your own work-life balance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's simple as that. Exactly.
And you can't preach it and then knowing that you're a hot mess behind the scenes, but I'm preaching this to everyone else. So I was like, I need to look at what I'm doing within like my household and then be able to tell others about it, really.
Would you ever sort of like branch out to other creators' fields instead of just photographers, or do you find that I'm really good at this niche and I want to stick to it?
So I work with creatives as well. So I've got, for instance, Lou, who was on, she's wedding stationery. I'm working with a web designer as well. Throughout my business, I've worked with a triathlete as well, which is random.
Wow.
So I niche
field.
with photographers
really
and creatives, but sometimes you'll get, the random one come in. But the triathlete I worked with, she's like a powerhouse. And I was like, it might not be anything that I'm completely familiar with, but I know that I could learn so much from her.
Yeah.
And she was amazing. And still to this day, we don't work together anymore, but she owns her own brand and everything and work in corporate jobs. Like I could literally learn so much from you. So I've done all that. But creative. Just like the whole creative side, because I never got into it myself, which I wish I had. It's just quite nice to be part of it. Yeah, all the creative come my way.
Yeah, it's a good way of doing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you get to see literally all of the behind the scenes, really. You really get to know businesses from the inside out really, really well. So, yeah. Yeah,
and I also think as well, if you're in, like, if you look at the photography market as a whole, like there'll be photographers that bring something to you that go, I need to do this. And then you can kind of, I'm not saying you transfer it to your other clients' businesses, but you can almost kind of influence those. You can go, look, have you thought about doing this?
Yeah.
It's just a really insightful, but you obviously have a deep level of knowledge now in that industry to be able to provide a really detailed level of customer service and an understanding of that industry. Yeah,
exactly. It's that whole thing, isn't it, about like being like a master, like I don't know, I can't remember what it is, but in the whole like field of like system setup specialists and all that kind of stuff, there's loads of people who kind of cover everyone. And I'm quite strict. I'm like, no, I just cover photographers, creatives, because I'm familiar with it and I know that I know that stuff. Whereas if a business coach like reached out to me not long ago, and I was completely honest, I was like, I don't think I could help you because I don't know your journey. I don't know whatever. I think your money is better spent with someone who specializes it. And it's really nice having that, like when you specialize and you like know that you can actually give really like you're trusted with that. So I'm like, no, I'll keep like the master at this part and then I'll just let others take that, and then I'm good with that.
Yeah, the photography market's still pretty massive, isn't it?
Oh yeah, very much. And it keeps on growing. That's the thing. So you get your little minions VAs out as well.
But not too far. Don't take it all. Don't take it all.
What was your last cinema trip?
Oh, so hilarious. My my 35th birthday was last week, and what do I do with it? Don't go out and get drunk anymore. Don't do any of that. So we had like a day date and breakfast and the new Tom Hanks film, Otto one. I'm obsessed with Tom Hanks.
Okay. Yeah.
Was it A Man Called Otto? Have you seen it? Is it just me? So I don't know if it's because I'm obsessed with Tom Hanks that anything that he's in, I'm like, oh, he's so lovely. But yeah, that it was. I really enjoyed it. But we were. I don't know if we showed our age a little bit because it was a really small room and there was definitely like an 80-year-old couple in there and just no one else really, and it would be just me and my husband sitting there like, we fit right in, don't we? This is perfect. And we ordered a cup of tea, and that was our day. But yeah, that was the last one.
You wild cat.
Oh, I know. Honestly, come hang out with me. I'm so much fun. Like, do all of it.
Oh, that's amazing.
So boring, honestly.
No, that's you, and you own it. That's what I say.
Exactly.
What's the future looking like for your business and this year in general? Are you excited
YouTube.
for
I
it?
was going to do YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold me accountable to it.
Yeah, we'll have a chat about that later.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, so I'm maxed out. Like, I'm fully booked up until the summer with double-sided builds, all that kind of stuff going on. But I really want to get into passive income. Really want to get that up and running. For both VAs, because the mentoring side, I do mentoring calls. I think a lot of people do that kind of stuff now. But I know that the VA industry is kind of becoming saturated with a lot of people who can think, oh, that looks easy, I'll do that. But the amount of people, this is my livelihood. Like, I've got a family to support, I've got all of that. And the amount of ones out there that, might not have insurance, or their legals in place, or, ICO register, all of that kind of stuff. It's scary. So I'm like, okay, I really enjoy the mentoring
thinking
side.
back to exactly how you felt when you first started it.
Yeah.
Can you kind of just bring those barriers down, that barrier to entry? Can you kind of just help people get over them easier?
Yeah, exactly.
Not the best use of English language there, easier. But yeah, you know what I mean? I was trying to think of a better word than just easier.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Exactly
how can you help those people? Because they all, there will be. There'll be, like we said at the very beginning, it still feels like it's very much in its infancy. But I think as businesses grow and the amount of volume of self-employed people grow, which it is, and it will do over the course of a recession, because people are going to go, I want to go and do that now. I don't want to be in this job. I've had enough. They thought it after COVID, and it's going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
It's just going to encourage more VAs into the market to be able to go, oh, I can do that as well.
Yeah, and it's really easy to get into, and I say easy to get into. It's transferable, real transferable skills from kind of me being HR and recruitment background, I could definitely bring that in, and you pick and choose what you offer. If I didn't so I got with email management and all that kind of stuff, I was like, this isn't me anymore. I need to progress a bit, do different stuff, and that's fine. I can pick and choose what I do. But yeah, so I'd like to do more on the mentoring side, like courses and all that kind of stuff for other VAs who want to get into it, and because I've heard some scary stories before. But then also help photographers. That's why I think I've got I think a lot of my following or whatever, I've built really good relationships with photographers, even if I've not worked with them or whatever. I have the conversations in my inbox, and which is really nice. So I think, I've got something there for, new photographers who are trying to suss out client journeys and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, passive, I need to work less and try to earn more.
It's the end goal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're all trying for that.
But YouTube, need to do that.
Yeah. Cool. Honestly, it's been really lovely chatting to you. Even though I had a few mental blanks throughout the course of the recording, kind of got there in the end. Is there anything else you had to ask, Igor?
No, I think we're ready for the last question.
Okay, so let's rewind the clock. Let's go back to 14-year-old Lindsay. Mm-hmm. What would your words of wisdom be to a 14-year-old you?
Oh, these questions always.
What we like as a 14-year-old?
We don't want to know. I was not going to cinema trips and reading books. I was down a park with a bottle of Lamborghini. 14, that's quite young actually to be doing that, maybe a little bit later. I don't know. What would I tell myself? That I can do that paneling and you can do the world is literally your oyster. I think I overcomplicated everything, and I think that's the problem. So I definitely tell myself to not put on so much pressure. I can do whatever I want. Don't overcomplicate it. Just crack on. Start imperfect, and then you'll suss it out.
I think so many people will relate to that. I think there's a lot of people that don't get to pursue their business because they just overthink the process, don't they?
Yeah.
I think we're all guilty of it to an extent.
Yeah. And with that comes a lot of regret.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. God, absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And hearing you say the imperfect bit is I'm thinking of the course that I've done, and we're going through a rebuild phase at the moment. I'm like, oh God, it makes me think the first one was nowhere near perfect. But I did it. I released it. It sold. We did
it.
okay. Now it's like, can we just refine it and improve it and make it better? Can we then go again and sell? It's that perfect launch of whatever it might be never doesn't exist. It's not there.
No, exactly.
Let go of that.
Yeah, and you'll it's all learnings. That's exactly what I found. We all start, I think there was something I said, we all start with 0 followers, 0 clients, 0, like we all start at 0. And you just build it from there. I think I held back so much because I was like, I don't know the legal side. I don't know, how I'd work with clients. I don't know any of that, so I won't do it. But then when I started, I was just like, I'll suss it out. Like, I got a client. I was like, right, now I need to find a contract. Like, you do it as you go. And, some of the other VAs who I've mentored, I've said to them, just start. Because imagine a year from now, if you hadn't have started, like a year from my starting point was, oh my God, it was so like transformational that year. And that's what I always say to people. Like, imagine where you could be a year from now.
It's very easy to find the excuse, isn't it?
So easy.
We can all find excuses very quickly. They're there right in front of you all the time.
They definitely are.
You got any final words of wisdom, Igor Demba?
I'm good.
Yeah.
It's just eye-opening really, to especially the whole client journey thing. It just made me really, really think that I could really invest a lot more time into really, really having a great client journey, not just good, a great client journey. So it just, again, leaving one episode very much thinking, my head buzzing and thinking, okay, let's do this, let's do that. How can I implement this, and how can I implement that? And really grateful for what you've said here, because it's really got me thinking. I'm sure that the audience is going to come out with quite a lot of few nuggets really to action really and implement to their businesses.
Where can people find you?
Not
literally find you, as in
put out my address and everything.
Virtually, where can they virtually find you?
Over on the gram, is it? I don't even know my username. Lindsey Garvey _VA, and website just lindsaygarvey.com. But that's where I am soon. Hopefully other places soon.
Amazing.
Nice.
Which golf course did your husband go to play?
Oh no, he went to the golf shop round the corner.
Right. Okay.
I was like, I was.
Found that well, didn't they?
I know. We were driving around. He's like, oh, there's a golf shop there. I'm going to just pop in there. I was like, oh, God. He's taking a day off work today just to go and do it. But
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for coming up and just sharing your experiences and journey with us. It's really appreciated.
No, thank you for having me.
Great stuff. What do people need to do, Igor?
All the clickety things.
That's the one.
The clickety things. Love that.